Hello guys, this is Imanix Trading channel. I show us my trade setup, how I take my trades and things like that. So if you are new to this channel, I want you to subscribe, like this video and share it to your friends so that they can see how things are going here, just for educational purposes. And going forward, this channel will help you to be able to anticipate setup even before the form. Alright, so I've been saying this on my channel that things that move the price are majorly old lows, fair value gaps, and these are the kind of things you want to be looking for on the higher time frame. No matter the charts, no matter the market asset class, so to say. So one of my trade setup I usually love to trade are retracements into retracement into fair value gaps, especially those found on the weekly time frame. So how do I anticipate it? How do I frame it? It is very simple. Now, I usually like to anticipate old lows, such as this one you're seeing here. I usually like to anticipate them, and then I usually love to see a fair value gap around this area here. So an old low and then the fair value gap, those are the two things that form most of my trade setup. So I want to see price around this area, what it is actually doing. And if we go higher, just to show us, I've been trying to anticipate this setup before price enter into the old low. So this was last year trading. This was December 2024. So I've been waiting for price to enter into this area so that I can trade off it. So going back to the weekly time frame, just to show us the kind of trade I love taking, especially when price have entered into an old low. I want to see this old low give support to price higher into a fair value gap that I'm anticipating. Do we understand? So I want to take my trade around the old low and then take my profit inside the fair value gap. So with this being said, what are the things that I should see in the lower time frame that will help me take this trade appropriately? And those are the things I'm going to be sharing in this video. So please, if you have not please do well to like. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe. It's just going to be a smooth ride, and I'm going to be posting more videos just to engage us more. Now this is the weekly time frame. Each of the candles you are seeing here formed in a week. So we can see the old low that I've highlighted to us, and then this is the old low here, please. This is the old low here. So we can see price entered into it and it rejects higher. So what this video is about is how we would have taken this opportunity here and then to translate into buying it higher into this fair value gap, and more specifically into this old high inside this fair value gap as our target. So let's dive into daily time frame. So this is price at the daily time frame. Yes, let's still do some little back testing. This was January. This was December 31st. As at then, the price have not entered into the old low. So price retrace higher January 2nd, 2025, January 3rd, Monday, which was 6th of January, price entered into the fair value gap. Now, you would have thought that, okay, since price have entered into the fair value gap, there is no possibility of it returning into it again, just as you see here. But after price entered into this fair value gap, then it took out the old low. So, having seen such, especially for me, there are things I want to check out for after price had entered into the old low. These are the things that will kind of give me a confirmation that price will still go back into the fair value gap. So the things I'll be showing us here are the things that will help us to take this trade, to scalp it, things like that. So this setup does not form every single week. At times you want to be following the price to check for it to just form something simple, and then you take the trade for a whole week. Yes, I usually take this kind of trade for a whole week. Probably it forms on Monday or on Tuesday. Kind of things that support the idea. Whenever it forms, that's when I want to take the trade and hold it for the rest of the week. So going down to 4 hours time frame, what are the things that could have helped me take this trade on the 4 hours time frame? I usually love to look for this setup around the 4 hours time frame. So this was price before it entered into the old low. So we can see that price went higher into the midpoint of the higher fair value gap and break lower into the 4 hours, the old low on the monthly time frame. And if you have watched my videos before, I usually want to see price enter an old low, especially the weekly or the 4 hours, and then does one thing specific. And that thing is any fair value gap that form before price enter into the old low, I want to see it invalidated higher. Once that happens, that is a kind of confirmation that price has changed direction for a short term and then would preferably go higher. And here we are seeing it, price entered into the old low and then invalidate the 4 hours fair value gap therein. So seeing this give me kind of confidence that price is going to change direction, and we can see that it did eventually. So when did this change of price direction happened? It happened on the 13th of January 2025. This is where price invalidated the fair value gap, and price retraced on the 14th of January into this fair value gap here. So the inversion fair value gap was enacted 13th. On the 14th, price began to carry on higher. But then I want to draw attention to something very interesting, and that is whenever I see the inversion fair value gap, I love to see an opposing fair value gap just like this, like an overlapping stuff. So inversion fair value gap, I want to see an overlapping an overlapping fair value gap. So this is kind of what I like to see. You see price will now retrace into that fair value gap and then continue higher. So on Monday this happened, close beyond it. On Tuesday, price retraced into the fair value gap and then Wednesday, price reached a peak at Wednesday and it began to decline on Friday. And then on this Friday slash Monday the next week, price began to blow higher again. So what is it telling us? Price at an old low, inversion fair value gap, and we can see that price then retraced into the larger fair value gap, and in fact inside at the old high there, price entered into it. So I love seeing price enter into a old low, create an inversion fair value gap, and then see price retrace into it and then travel higher. And this kind of movement is typical for and I usually want to anticipate it when I'm trading an inversion fair value gap. After the stop point, I want to see a first movement and a second movement. This first movement into the inversion fair value gap, and then this second movement, which I like to use whenever I'm trading inversion fair value gap. I usually use my fib to draw it from here to this new high created to get probably 62% retracement level. So this kind of afford me two levels of entry. First at the inversion fair value gap, and then second at 62% retracement level after this first movement. I'll lay my fib on it just like this. This is my Fibonacci retracement tool. I'll lay it on it this way. I'm trying to lay this on it. Alright, let me try again. So I want to see, I'll use my fib to draw from the high, from the low to the high created. Now this will be price at the inversion fair value gap must have been my entry, and then I would have taken my profit probably inside this fair value gap or before it, just as it was here. So and then I will now take my fib just as I'm showing us here, and then measure from this low to the new high created, and then 62% retracement level, my stop loss will be below here, and then I can hold this trade for like a whole week and things like that. So this is how I would have traded this, and then target this larger fair value gap on the weekly time frame, and this old high still on the weekly time frame at the midpoint of the fair value gap. So that's one of my trade setup I usually use, using old lows, inversion fair value gap, and what have you. Now I want us to also check price inside the fair value gap that was created on the weekly time frame. So you can see this large downpour. What is the cause of that downpour, and how would you be have been able to trade this kind of setup inside the fair value gap on a weekly time frame? What are the things you want to look for? They are not so much the same simple stuff I showed us while trading from the old low inside the fair value gap. Now let's go down to the 4 hours time frame, 4 hours time that we left just now. So I'll just show us some little stuff here. Now this was price inside the fair value gap, and this is also price around the sensitive area of the fair value gap, which is the midpoint. And we can also see an old high here at the midpoint of the weekly fair value gap. So there is a particular price signature that when you see it, it will give you some kind of confirmation that this price is going to go lower, just as you are seeing here. And the first thing you want to check is the formation of an inversion fair value gap. Now, this is a fair value gap that is formed around the larger fair value gap on the weekly time frame. And what can we see happening here? Let me mute this larger fair value gap almost completely. Okay, so we can see old low and midpoint of weekly fair value gap. We can see a fair value gap, namely buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency formed. And part of what this kind of fair value gap does is that it sends price higher. But in the case where it is invalidated, just as we have seen here, what do you want to do with this information? Price invalidating a fair value gap is supposed to support price higher, translate to that fair value gap resisting price lower. That's it. Once you see a fair value gap that should support price higher invalidated, what that means is that that same fair value gap is going to cause price to trade lower, just as you are seeing here. And that's the case you are seeing here, so clear. So we can see that price invalidated this fair value gap and then retrace into it again, into this little fair value gap. So most of the time I want to see two things: an invalidation of a larger fair value gap and the creation of a little fair value gap such that they are overlapping. So we can see that price in fact close in on this larger fair value gap here. After closing on it, it retreats into this small fair value gap and then continue to trade lower. So these are price signature that when I see inside the fair value gap, tells me that it's going to send price lower. Do we understand? So price came into this fair value gap here. So price came into this fair value gap here, invalidated it, and then created a little fair value gap. We can see obviously that price retraced into it and then continue to what? Blow down. When this one happened, this invalidation happened on the Sunday, 25th of January. And then the retracement occurred on Monday this week, traded into it, and then continued to what? Blow lower. And we can see to the extent it has gone. Now this fair value gap happens to be a daily fair value gap. So these are things that you want to take note of. See, daily fair value gap, price retraces into it and then still came lower. So these are trade ideas that you do not want to miss out on. Trade ideas that you don't want to miss out on. On a 1 hour time frame, what can we see here? We can see a break of market structure here by this price movement downwards, closing beyond the fair value gap, and then a retracement into it here. Very succinct. And then from there, price begin to retrace into fair value gaps. Price continue to retrace into fair value gaps. We can see obviously how much price have moved downward. How much price have moved downward. Let's say I took my trade from 0.630, let's say 0.000, and then price moved down to 62,116. That's a whole lot of pips. A whole lot of pips. Or which, if you have caught, would have served enough of profit for this week alone. So you want to learn how to do this kind of trade and see it blossom in your direction. See it blossom in your direction. So till I come your way next time, do have a good and nice trading. Bye for now, and please do not forget to like, share, subscribe. Till I come your way next time. Bye.